like to call to order the town board. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Here.
Trustee Farson?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
Here. Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Bremner, would you mind leading us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 5, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 18th, 2023 at 6 o'clock p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. I just want to add again, I don't know if I've just always been asleep to it, but especially the decennial committee discussion, like that you put the statements and you captured all of this information. I cannot imagine how much time this takes. So thank you for how hard you work on this stuff, Cheryl. So it is definitely appreciated. It made it easy. It makes it easy for you, Rose, for like all of the answers from last month.
There's a knack to it, and I definitely appreciate it as well.
Right? Absolutely. So thank you. So clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 6, any citizens' comments this evening? Going
I
once?
just want to say that I'm driving past places where I didn't notice in you so much before, but you can really see them, and they're really looking good.
Right? Yeah.
Really looking good.
It's so cool. Yeah, I'm thinking we need to start like capturing pictures, right? Just to be able to put on the website and stuff. Shiloh Towers, I drove by there today and I didn't even realize like how many zinnias they had, and they've got a lot.
Yeah.
There was someplace else I drove by too. I don't remember where that was, but yeah. So very
Me
cool.
too, that
Really
place of
excited.
Business there, something that I knew that never noticed before.
Well, when the city council passed the resolution for it, they said, "Are you committed to 10 years? Because it's going to take 10 years to see something like this." I'm like, "There's no way. No, I can't commit to 10 years." And I was like, "Okay, then we can't do it." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, and sure enough, we're at 5 years. So imagine 5 more years. And we just went to the Holland Tulip Festival and Lilacs and Lombard, and those have been going on for like 97 years, right? To keep it going. So imagine like if we just keep doing this, what it can, the difference it can make. So cool. Thank you. And thank you for being our resident waterer. So
Thank you for the truck.
right. Okay, so moving on, item 7, authorized bills for payment for July. Trustee Fisher?
Yeah, after meeting with the supervisor and the assessor, I would ask for, I move authorized payment of bills in the amount of $96,518.54.
Is there a second?
Second.
And now we'll move into discussion. Any discussion? Do you want me to just run through them?
I think Mr. Ferguson has some questions.
Yes, no, and you know, every month, just as a reminder, I really appreciate, Trustee Holmes, you do it regularly for me too, getting a list of questions so that we can have the answers for the meeting. So, the first one was, let's see, do you have any idea why we have such an increase in calls? I'm not noticing which metric it flows.
That was for the supervisor's report.
Oh, okay, so let's do that.
Related to financials,
Yeah.
it's just that there was a discrepancy for June and for July.
Yeah.
And you have a response from the business manager on what that discrepancy was about. It's a small
Yes,
discrepancy,
yes.
but you can go into that detail she provided.
Perfect, okay, and so, on the June financials, the balance was off by $301.66, which was due to paying the board members and having to retract it. So we started with the, new payroll system, and, they made the mistake of paying you guys twice. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but then they retracted the one. And so it threw off their books, right, completely to have done that. So not a lot, $301.66. The July financials were off, $638.44, which includes the $301.66 above and $336.78. We got the financials this month, with us being closed the first week of the month, blah, 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 blah. And so, let's see. So anyway, so we did hear back from them, and it was 100% that discrepancy of doing, trying to readjust the books. And so the books will be readjusted for next month's meeting. So I don't think we need to reapprove, because that's what the financials were, right, with the discrepancy. And if we just approve the August, it will have made all of the corrections in those financials. Would you not, is that not true?
I'm not 100% sure on that, because when I subtract that amount out, it's gonna change the total that's on our bills to pay. So how about we just look at it once they provide us the
Okay, sure.
update.
And then we can decide what we need to do, if we need to reapprove.
And I wasn't here for the May meeting for month ending, April, but there was a discrepancy of $392.72 on that one as well. So I don't think we talked about that one, so I'll talk to,
Yeah,
the business manager about that one.
cool, yeah, and we'll get that straightened out. Which is interesting, cause she uses your same sheet, so, yeah, we'll get it
But
figured out.
that's why I didn't wanna make any assumptions, I just wanted to double check.
I appreciate that, cool. Anything from you, anything else? Okay, cool, so we'll get that straightened out when they, yeah, so now, just as a reminder, like, I like the way we did the billing and the payroll before, right? We had to move into New Age. I'm just kidding. There's definitely a learning curve and adjustments that come with that, so Colette pushed us into going with, timekeeping, where it wasn't Sandra doing everything on paper, right, and turning it in, so it's actually computerized. So these are some of the glitches that came from doing that work, so. Okay, is there any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Dan?
Aye. Number 8, assessors report.
Good evening. We turned our books into the county, and our assessments are due to publish on Thursday, the 17th. Blue notices will come out, will be mailed out, on that day. Residents should receive them in, shortly thereafter in the mail. And information also will be published on the Lake County website. If anyone chooses to appeal, file an appeal, just note that you have a 30-day window to do so. All that information would be on the blue notice. The link to appeal is on our website, because everything is automated now. It's also on the county website. There are step-by-step instructions on the website, and also in instruction packets that we have printed out and provided for those who may need them. Those instruction packets will be on the outside box of our door here in City Hall. We'll also have some available at the library. I'm not sure exactly of the availability of the library, but just note that the staff is not responsible for helping to file the claim. They would just only, avail their computers for those who don't have a computer of their own to use. Also, a friendly reminder that the second installment is due on September the 5th. And note that we do not accept payments in our office, and you can save on postage and pay by e-check online through the treasurer site. And they have, all their information out there. You can contact them to find out more about how to pay online. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions, comments?
No questions.
Kudos?
So much.
Awesome, thank you very much. Item 9, supervisor's report, just a few things. Summer work program is officially over as of July 28th. We had 32 youth completing the program, with 6 nominated for Employee of the Year. The winners were Alex Rodriguez, Adriana Gillies Castaneda, and Marshawn McEwen. I just want to say thank you to Adriana Ortiz, Rod Henry, Charday Bone, Nayeli Cardenas, and Sandra Usher for all their work and dedication to the program. Also, thanks to Assessor Colette Davis and the ZB Library for accepting student interns. So thank you for that. The township's going to be closed on Monday, September 4th for Labor Day. We will be in the parade. We're actually looking at having the township, the Zinnia and Monarch Festival, and the Red Hat Society all in the parade. So that will be the next project after this weekend, which is the Zinnia and Monarch Festival, August 19th and 20th from 1 until 5 p.m. And then the band Salsa Veda will be there on Saturday night from 5 until 7. It should be an amazing event. I gave each of you the program for the event so you can see everything that's going on with that. We are still looking for community leaders to be in the donut eating contest. If any of you are willing, it's at 2:30 at the band shell on Saturday. Are there any takers? Is anybody going to be here and willing to be in the donut eating contest?
They're from CJ's.
Right?
How does that fit into the whole health and wellness?
Well, it doesn't, right? Yes, and
Social wellness.
it's supporting a local business, and it's having fun, right? We don't have fun enough, right? It's just gonna be cake donuts from CJ's. So it's not gonna be extremely, and I don't do sugar at all, and I'm going to
You're
be
gonna
in
do
it,
it?
so I'm doing it.
Oh, man.
So is Lou.
She has to do
We'll
it.
have, we'll have EMS available.
What's that?
We'll have EMS,
They're right.
emergency service
I'm not putting
available.
sugar in my body. But Lou is going to do it as well. So yes, we're looking for any community leaders that are willing to show up at 2:30 and be in it.
So on the spot, we can just say, I'll do it.
You can, you
Okay.
can. So yes, otherwise we'll get people from the audience, but it would be way funner to have community leaders actually. Wouldn't it, you guys? Wouldn't it be fun to have leaders up there like making fools of themselves in a fun way instead
Is
of
a donut on a string type thing?
No, we aren't gonna do that. We're just gonna have it, and whoever eats the 6 donuts first wins.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, isn't it everybody's dream to be able to like inhale 6 donuts? Come on, seriously.
Cake donuts at that.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You'll have milk, you can drink it down, we'll make sure we have cartons of milk.
No. This is going very left for me.
So I'm still working on, police and fire department to have somebody, and the mayor, so those are the 3 that I'm trying to get to have somebody show up. But Mike, if you did show up, it would be wonderful, just saying out loud. And I do want to, we set up a watering truck this year because trying to borrow from other taxing bodies ended up being, they had other chemicals on it or didn't have it available. And so this week we actually, when I realized how painful it was, so Lou and Janet Eppers have been going out 4 or 5 times a week watering the flowers at City Hall and the fire station, and it's all good, and the train station and the pots, and they've been just working so hard. And Esther's well, and so we actually bought a little $500 generator and a pump, and now it'll take them like a third of the time. I feel like we're legit. It'll be something that will serve in 100 ways moving forward. So that was our little appreciation gift to Lou for all her hard work. So and she hasn't even gotten to use it yet. So, but really grateful for that. Sean Sloan, whose mom lives down at Zion Senior Cottages, he works for Deerfield, City of Deerfield, and he came and helped us figure that out. So that was very cool. So then, also the Zion Quarterly was out on July 1st. Please remember to share any community events with Sandra at zbquarterly@gmail.com to have it in the next edition. And then just to share again, Zion Township is partnering with the Coalition for Healthy Communities and University of Illinois Extension to conduct a community-wide study on whole health wellness. Details are to come on that. We're still moving forward. Do you want to share?
Yep, so last week, the actual proposed survey was submitted to the IRB, so we're hoping for approval hopefully within the next week. Our chief investigator is currently on vacation, so I'm hoping to get an answer back on that early next week, and then we'll move forward to the next step. So far so good.
Cool. Definitely a one step at a time project, right?
Yes, that's all I can handle.
Right. Okay, and then, just to share, the Queen Bees of Zion Red Hat Society is in full swing. We have a full group. There was a point where I strongly considered unplugging it because the founders are no longer around, and it broke my heart to try and like do something different, because it had been so, vibrant for so long, but held the space for it, and we had 21 on our last trip. We actually took 2 vehicles. We went to the St. Charles Park District for the paddleboat ride, and it was a blast. It's just such a really fun group, and you will see them in the parade, so you will know. I don't know your name, but you really look like you would be fun to be in our group. I'm just saying that out loud.
Is there alcohol?
No.
Not so much fun.
Oh, you would be amazed how much fun you can have with a red hat on when other people are drinking alcohol. But we did the paddleboat ride, and September we're doing an overnight trip to Sheboygan. So we're gonna do a lot of shopping and concert. John Michael Montgomery is a country singer. We're gonna go to hear his show, and always ice cream. Gotta have ice cream on the trip. So got that
Good
planned.
antiquing up there in Sheboygan.
What's that?
Some good antiquing.
Well, and thrift stores.
Yeah,
That's why we're going, because it's like a thrift store haven,
There you
and the
go.
seniors love the thrift stores.
Wonderful.
And then just to share, Zion Benton Township High School is hosting their 3rd annual Bee Bash on Wednesday, August 16th, which is tomorrow, right? At 2 o'clock. So I will be there. And then I just want to do one other shout out, and that is my friend Sherry Miller, who is with us tonight. She is the founder of the Charm Foundation and has made such a substantial impact to our community. I can't even put into words the impact that she has made, not just here, every leader that I know of, because they're on a sunset tour, right? It's 1 year now?
1 year.
1 year, and they're going to be, Sherry made a commitment to 20 years. And it's the sunset of that, and the number of leaders that are like in panic, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do without the Charm Foundation? It was the Charm Foundation that came up alongside us to do the Zion Benton Leadership Academy, and donated one of her staff to help make sure that worked out really well. Huge mentor, huge support, coaching, just the amount of growth that my team has had because they've been able to be a part of programs with the Charm Foundation has been second to none. It's been so amazing. And so I just want to publicly say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I wouldn't be who I am or able to make any of this impact had it not been for you guys believing in me and helping me to like find my voice. So thank you. She's exhausted.
It was really fun. She
Yeah.
gets a lot done.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Right, thank you. Do you want to add anything?
Her team.
Yeah,
She just has on.
right,
She just has on.
right.
Yeah.
Or I'm asleep, one or the other. And so going back to, along with the board report, I also share the services report. And this month, we actually, last year for the month of July, we had 473 calls come in. This year, we had 760 calls come in. And looking at the progress, I was like, when did this start? And so it's been going up quite a bit. Last year in January, we had 419 calls. We had 525 this year. Last year in February was 349 to 448. So it's been like within 100 of going up. April, it actually went down a little bit, but in May, last year we had 440 calls, and this year we had 638, so it was up by about 200. And then this month, last year it was 469, and this year it was 822. And so Trustee Frierson actually asked the question of like, what's going on? Do you have any idea what's going on with that? And we actually had, a pretty extensive conversation about it, trying to like figure out what's different. And every time somebody brought something up, I'm like, that was the same last year, right? And it was like, COVID, no, that was the same last year. And it's off the chain. People are just in panic, needing help, and it's like this sense of helplessness. right? That they, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it or anything, but people are just calling regularly, believing that they don't have, you know, that they can't get out of this rut of like, I don't know what it is.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to get underneath was, I didn't see where the increase flowed to some of the other numbers that we captured down below.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to identify if that was an opportunity or need that we can't meet, or if we can somehow, you know, kind of capture the theme of what those needs are and, you know, reevaluate or
Right.
hook up with some other organizations. So that's why I wanted to understand it more deeply.
Well, in, you know, what, I appreciate it, because one of the questions you asked is, are we tracking the number of people that we are unable to help? And we have not been tracking it, and I think that that's important too, because the number of situations where, in a lot of the situations, they've already used Salvation Army, they've already used Mother's Trust, they, you know, they can't get resources from us anymore. And that they've used up all of the different resources already. And so, you know, they call in, and so one of the other questions was like, who gets an assessment? And everybody gets an, you know, we do the initial intake with every caller. Naeli does that call and then puts it on a call list, and then one of the case managers calls back. And in a lot of situations, not a lot of situations, all of them, even if we can't help, they help to brainstorm, like, okay, what other opportunities do you have, right? What, you know, what else might you be able to do? And so being able to, you know, to offer that piece. But yeah, I would love to, a little bit more, because, you know, in one of the situations I want to talk in the decennial report is like, how do we manage the spigot, right? The more people that are hearing about us and hearing about the services, but now we never had a call waiting list before, where we, you know, it took a little bit of time to call people back. But each call, you know, just doing the intake takes 20 minutes, right? And then doing the callback, you know, it takes sometimes 30 minutes, you know, even longer. And then you schedule the appointment, right? So it's a lot of listening time and trying to unravel. But like, people will call for one thing. That's not the problem, right? That's just the low-hanging fruit that they need the help with. But like, it's like, yeah, but what we're hearing is that this is really well, yeah, but that's not what I want to deal with today. It's like, I know, but if you don't deal with this today, then tomorrow you're dealing with this. And so, yeah, it's feels like this ball of yarn that you pull the strings and trying to figure out where to get that at. So, but as a first step to just, what I'm hearing you saying is track with each of the calls that we're doing, how we're able to help, right? So a number of the calls are literally people just looking for more information. Right, and so Naeli is able to direct in a lot of situations. We're the 411 that people, you know, they just don't know where to call, and so that actually wouldn't trickle down into the other areas. Right. I'm just saying out loud that it's possible that this month, with the Zinnia Monarch Festival, an increased number of calls, because we've never done anything this big before.
Okay.
So just thinking about that.
Okay.
Right. So, but I will talk to my team about starting to track, like, each of the calls and like, who are we not able to help and why. So cool. We
Thank
just
you.
making, yeah. We did tour Legacy Foundation in Waukegan with George Moore this month. And one of the things that we're looking to do is do a partnership with them where they do a life skills program for all of our GA clients. And so they will come to the township and do I think it's a 2-hour program once a week with all of the GA clients. So really looking forward to that. We're in the very preliminary stages of that, but it was a really good conversation. And then the other meeting we had was with the property management teams. They have the laundromat at 23rd and Sheridan, because a lot of our GA clients, they need help with laundry services, and so they actually have an app for the washing machines that we can use their GA stipend, because GA is general assistance, and individuals get a stipend every month to be able to live on, and we either help them get back into the workforce or on disability, depending on their situation. So if they have kids, they go through TANF. If they're disabled, they go through disability. If they're a veteran, they go through the VA. But in the meantime, we can help them to get back into the workforce or on disability. And so in those situations, not having laundry services. So we met with the entire team and they helped us. It's a really simple setup. We can put the app on our phone and access laundry services for them. And so looking forward to that, and those kinds of partnerships are really appreciated. And so,
Better have to fold his clothes.
right, to take them in for us. Okay, did that answer all the questions for you? So, the other question was, what type of services are provided by Salvation Army? Utilities, rent, and mortgage are what they're able to help with. We have actually, I believe we've tapped out those funds, but they're letting us continue to put in applications, so. Cool, any other questions about that? Okay, moving on, the decennial committee business. So thank you, committee members, for being here. So just going back into the old business of the high level, Laura, I just want to say thank you very much for capturing that we didn't have Elf Network in there. And so we put together a little paragraph that we will add to the collaborative programs. We also are adding the employee position descriptions in the organizational chart, and that was included in that. So we have all of that information together, thanks to your input. We have informed our team of the resources for the Kids Above All program that you shared with us, so thank you with that. And I'm planning to have coffee with Gary Gerlin from Love Inc. to further find out how we can support the New Hope program. Yeah.
I do have one thing I wanted to
Oh, sure.
exchange out.
Oh, thank you.
And next we have the most recent data. I'm providing an updated, job description. for
Oh.
the assessment.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, because the one that was in there was from when you were applying for it. Good job, girl. Thank you. We were throwing things together in that moment, so I'll make sure that that gets back into the. Do you have them for Rose and Laura
Oh,
as well?
I have not, but-
Thank you. I will pull this right now. Put that in. Thank you very much. Good catch, of course. And so then just a few of the other things, the public comment ordinance, Clerk Spooner found that for us and that was included in the information. Thank you so much. I was gonna say I'm looking forward to the day when we need it, but that's not true. It's nice that our meetings are calm. We also posted the calendar on our website. And the Open Meetings Act online training, thank you, Cheryl, for finding that for us and putting that out. I left my certificate over there for you. I completed it. Yeah. Has anybody else had a chance to complete it?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. You did? Okay, good. Okay. You did too, Rose?
I printed it out very nicely, it's on my desk at home.
Oh.
I'll just scan and email it to you. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Awesome, thank you. Laura, have you had a chance?
You know, and that's the reason I'm late, I was up till 2:30 working on that OMA certificate. And I just fell asleep.
I did too, twice trying to finish it.
Yes. It goes, do not stop, and then it goes, after you get in 2 pages, now do 101. and-
Right. Please don't add this to the list of like when Sherry asked me to do something.
Yeah, it's stuck in my mind.
I'm sure, a couple of times maybe. Oh my gosh, well, thank you. So yeah, so if we can each do that and then get the certificate to the clerk, we will be in regulation. Sexual prevention training, we are actually signed up to do that training on November 1st. Rex Jones, who we brought in to do the active shooter training and is our consultant for HR. He provides that program, and so he's gonna come in and do that for us. And so, PDFs for the efficiency study for the committee. I sent that out to everybody to read. Laura had the hard copy for that. And then the other thing we need to do is to schedule the closed sessions to review the closed session minutes. I don't know if we want to do that next month or if there's like 1 month in the year that it's like, you know what, if we just do it all in January or whatever.
When have we had a closed session?
It's been a lot of years.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know. It's been a lot of years, but we've never reviewed the closed session minutes to release them or not.
It must be prior to
It might be prior to all of you, actually.
Yeah,
No.
so I.
Were you in, was that?
Did you guys hire Colette?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Whoever was on the board when we did the assessor.
Closed session.
Yeah. So we have had some. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But we won't be able to release those anyway.
Right, because we don't want anybody to know what we said about Colette.
We can choose not to release the minutes, you know.
Yes, well, and probably, but I think we need to do that in closed session, right? To just review them and do that. So, what,
And I think there's three different sets
How far do you go back?
until you release them or not. You have to keep doing it until you don't release them. So once a year, you're supposed to do that.
so, when would you like to do that?
Well, if you do it when you're doing the decennial, that might run into the council meeting. So, and you can't have the township meeting before 6 o'clock.
Right,
So, if you have maybe a shorter decennial conversation,
or we could wait until we're done with the decennial report.
we could,
Okay, so we'll
As long
finish
as it's
this
done.
and then we'll put that on the agenda for, right after that.
yeah, that would probably be good.
Okay, all right, awesome, thank you. Okay, so that was all of the old business. And so the next items on the report for the decennial, and just so everybody knows, the decennial report, the, state of Illinois mandated that every government agency except cities and counties, which I don't understand, everybody else has to look at what they can do better. But cities and counties don't have to look at that. So, so the libraries, the park districts, the schools, and the townships, are all, have an opportunity to do this, specific evaluation. And so each month, we've been just taking a chunk of the items that we have to review. And the next piece of it is actually, these three questions. What have we done well? What inefficiencies did we identify? What are our next steps? And what can we do better or more efficiently? And so I would be curious, hearing from you guys of like items that you think in any of these three areas, starting with like what we've done well.
I added coordinating with other agencies.
Good? That is kind of our sweet spot, isn't it? Right? We're do that well. Any other thoughts, ideas?
Well, are we jumping all over? I don't know about the water spigot. I don't
So,
understand. Page two, is that?
So if we, let's just start with what we've done well. So some of the things that my team and I discussed was, literally hiring the best team. I feel like that's where we make the greatest impact in the community, is making sure we have the right people in the right positions, doing the right things. And in my team, they have a development mentality, always looking at how to improve processes constantly. Colette, if you wanna like do these questions with your team too, right? And, at the next, and so tonight is just kind of opening up the thoughts around it, and the next month we can like finalize anything that we have, but just starting to have the conversation. Manage increased volume of clients and calls as needed, with some months, calls doubling. Our desire to do things the right and best way and to model and support others. I think the Zinnia Festival is a perfect example of like doing things well. I didn't think we had it in us to do something this good, so I'm really, really proud of my team. Accountability, we admit when we're wrong and learn from our shortcomings. Cultivating a safe and welcoming environment for residents that are in crisis. Being a part of the solution, not the problem, most of the time. I know that sometimes we can be part of the problem too. Having a yes mentality. And then the other couple of things was the evolution of the Senior Resource Expo. It really enabled us to build strong relationships with many agencies by hosting that event, and it's a huge service for the community. And then starting to do agency presentations at our staff meetings, bringing in organizations to help us to know what services and resources that there are available. So that were some of the things that we had. If you guys can just spend 5 minutes thinking about it and shoot us an email of like other things that you might think about.
I think sharing what you've learned with other agencies.
Say more about that.
helps them be better too. When you found something that works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you share it with the other groups you
Yeah.
that it makes everybody better.
Ooh.
And I'm sorry, is there another copy of that report? I don't have it in my packet.
I actually emailed it out to everybody.
Okay.
But we've just got, and I can actually take a picture and give, or I can just shoot it to you, so.
Okay.
And then the two other questions were, what inefficiencies did we identify and what are our next steps? One of the things was marketing and communication, right? It's always been a really hard struggle for us. The number of nights that I would like just be so distraught going to bed, knowing that there's people that are putting their head on their pillow, being so stressed out because they don't know who to call, and we're right here, and they just don't know about the township and what we do, has really pushed me. And so we've done a lot of different things, which I think is with the calls and information we get, but still I feel like it's something that we can continue to get better with. And then the statement of how to manage the water spigot, right? The more we communicate with people, the more calls that come in for people in crisis. There's 4.5 of us, so there's only so much we can do, and it just makes the waiting list longer, and it really it undermines not the confidence, but the well-being of my team when they can't be there for people in that moment. It gets a little.
Sure, have you just, picked a few categories of what we do well? Or do you think this sums up everything?
No, it was just a start.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to start to get people to think, and what I would love is for you guys to just spend 5 minutes and send an email of other things that you think we do well at the township.
Well, I can list off a few.
Okay.
I think we do well at collaborating with other social service agencies. I think we do well in following best practices for social services. Those two come to mind.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have anything come to mind?
One of the things you mentioned was the time that has to be invested when you get a call in. Is that because when you're doing a call and you're doing the intake, you're going through a preset number of steps on each call? Is that something that you're looking at on a regular basis to see, instead of these 5 questions, we only need to ask maybe 2 of those questions to get to the next step? Have you looked at that process?
Well, yeah,
Or
it's several
reviewed it?
times, and we're constantly revising how
Yeah.
that can work.
Yeah,
Um,
cause that seems to
yeah.
be where a bottleneck would be, is that you're getting a call in, someone's asking for assistance, and you're investing a lot of time in a back and forth to try to bring them around to what they
Well,
actually need.
The first call is when somebody calls the township and they say they need help. She has the
Right.
intake form and she takes it right away and she completes it. And then
Okay.
she puts it into the system for a callback.
Okay,
And so and then and almost always when they call back and they have the deeper conversation, a lot of the information isn't even exactly true, right? It's, and to try and get to what's the real situation to be able to help them the best,
okay.
is what it takes, so, yeah. Yeah, but, yeah, continuing to do that, but I will make note of that too, right?
Yeah,
Is there a way to
because-
better streamline?
Yeah, cause that's where, you're getting overwhelmed, and maybe looking at the intake process, that you might be able to streamline it maybe a little bit. Maybe not. I mean,
Right, right.
I mean, there's some things that you just can't move, you have to take the time to work with them.
Right, but taking another look at that, right, an intentional look at what else we might be able to do, I appreciate that. So yeah, so these are the 3 questions. What have we done well? What inefficiencies did we identify? What are our next steps? And what could we do better and more efficiently? And so, I'd appreciate you guys taking time and thinking about it. If you shoot me an email, we'll spend some time again on it next month. Yes, Gunnar?
More efficiently, if you could somehow get the agencies that turn in a yearly report to use the same system, because one agency said they helped 13,000 people, and I really think it was like maybe 18 people 12 times or something. And other people, like they said they helped 283 families, and that's a realistic number. But it seems like they're inflating to make themselves look good. And we're not, even the township is not getting
What's
an
it?
accurate description of what they're doing.
Okay, cool. So, so we will recommend with the yearly reports using the same tabulating system, right?
Yeah.
That best describes it.
The 2-to-1 ratio on our referrals, that was one of the questions.
2-to-1 ratio on our referrals. Oh, yes, so. Where's it at?
And I don't know if all the work you do with the Red Hat team should go in there under what you've done well.
Oh,
I don't know if other townships do that or not.
all right, yeah, none that I know of. Got it, cool, thank you. Okay,
Maybe just tap into senior resources, which include, the resource day and the stuff with the red hats and just, senior enrichment or what you want to call it, senior life enrichment. And kind of put it all over there.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, so. Okay, so your question was the 2-to-1 ratio about the, going back to the supervisor's report. Trustee Frierson.
Yeah, so I've just been noticing over the last several months, it seems like there's a 2-to-1 ratio on the referrals made with so the number of referrals and then referrals out to organizations.
Mhm.
And so I was wondering if there are two main needs that are kind of being hit when we tend to refer people out, or if there are, kind of two main organizations. So
Mhm.
again, just kind of looking
Yep.
for themes for some of the services that we provide, just,
Yep.
making the best use of the report from
So
all
what
the work that goes
is-
into it.
So the two organizations that we refer primarily to are Salvation Army and Mother's Trust Foundation.
Okay.
And Salvation Army and Mother's Trust all help with utilities, rent, and mortgage, and Mother's Trust does all kinds of other stuff to be able to help families. Okay. All right, so I will send out an email reminder, just re-asking these 3 questions, and if you wouldn't mind, just spending a little bit of time, maybe checking out the website, checking out, the reports, and, anything else that you can capture in any of these, right? So, what we're doing well, what inefficiencies can we identify, what are our next steps, and what can we do better and more efficiently? Really appreciate holding space for those, because, we wanna do the best we can for the community. Oh, yes, sir.
Ma'am, listening to the supervisor's words right now, surveys show that something like 32% of senior citizens do not have websites, do not have access to emails or internets. The supervisor might want to consider some other method of being in contact with senior citizens that don't have either the capability or the skills to go to the website or
Yeah.
look things up on a computer.
Right. Well, and I really appreciate you sharing that, Mr. Bremner, because the reason that we were so adamant about starting the Zion Quarterly and having a mailed-out publication to all residents, and working with every other taxing body in this community, so that we're not each sending out and paying for postage, which is crazy that we would each do that. And so the intentionality of making sure that every taxing body was invested and involved in doing the quarterly magazine, we think it's really important, and the fact that we do it in English and in Spanish, so that we're reaching all of the residents in this community. The idea that, like, if there's like 32% of seniors that don't have access to the internet, it just substantiates more, the why that we're doing the magazine. So, thank you very much. I thought you were gonna say something like, tell more jokes, or, no, okay. Just checking. Anything else? Yeah.
I
but
Please.
I'm happy to find that you print last month's meeting. I'm a paper person.
Oh.
I don't like the web much myself. My husband works in it. We're total opposites. So I didn't know I could stop off here and pick these up every month, and I can find out what was going on in the months I missed. I'm thrilled.
Right.
Thank you for paper also.
Awesome, right? I'm also a paper person, so we're moving out, but my assessor is not a paper person, so we work both. So we work really well together that way. Awesome. Anything else that anybody can think of for this week or for this meeting?
For the decennial or just in general?
Sure. Anything in general?
I guess the only other thing I had in general, so I got a chance to be out and talk to some folks with the listening sessions that we've been doing. And then also on our general meeting for the coalition, we had a discussion about unhoused youth. So I reached out to a couple of additional organizations to see what other services are there. So there's a lot of things that, we have the staple of, pads and things like that. But this is an ever-evolving situation. So I reached out, I got a list of probably 10 different agencies that provide different services for youth throughout the county that we never knew about. So I'm throwing that out there to say if anyone else knows of resources that are available, please send those to me. So we're gonna have our researchers reach out to these organizations and kind of build out a more robust understanding of what services are there, and then I'll be meeting with your team to pass that information on. But it's just really been eye-opening of some of the things that we take for granted, like Mr. Brimner mentioned. One of the things that came up was just simply going to the grocery store for the seniors. So now, not to throw one of our grocery stores under the bus, but there's an app that you have to use to be able to take advantage of certain discounts or things that are on sale. And you never really think about how that impacts seniors or how that impacts people that may be underserved and not have access to a smartphone or internet. And so those things are a barrier. And from a coalition standpoint, those are things that we look at to remove barriers in the community. So again, if you know of any other resources that are available, please email those to me. We're trying to compile a more updated list of services because organizations are popping up every day. So.
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate that very
Well, I
much.
noticed that you're a SNAP recipient, that you're eligible for free internet access. At one point, I think they were providing phones too. I don't know if that still happens too, but if we have families that are getting food assistance, or seniors or whoever, that might be something too that we can help them to see that, from what I understand, it's not that hard to do it, but you're eligible, and it's either free or it's like this.
So I think that's the Waukegan Connect program. We were
Okay.
talking with them about changing the name of that because it does extend to all of Lake County. It's not just Waukegan, but it was throwing a lot of people off with the name. I don't know if they've
Oh, yeah.
come through with
Yeah.
that name change yet.
Yeah, well, and they were working on it, but I also know that they've now connected with grade school district. It was in the grade schools, the mailer that they just mailed out.
Okay.
I'm sharing that information with families to be able to have access to that, so.
Well, like even to the seniors, to some of our seniors too, being fixed income,
Yeah.
to let them know about actually the eligibility for SNAP.
Right.
And stuff, because, if they're on a fixed income and money is,
Mhm.
finite, then food prices go up, and they're eligible, you should take advantage of the problem. These people have worked,
Mhm.
pay taxes all their life and I think especially for the seniors, there might be some reluctance,
Mhm.
they might view it weirdly, but maybe something too, we can make some of our seniors, aware of things that could be, really involving,
Take away the stigma.
yeah, absolutely, take away the stigma and help improve the quality of their life. I mean, somebody shouldn't be, shopping the 69-cent tuna sale at the pig because that's all they can afford.
Right.
Because there is an issue as our seniors get older with nutrition and some other stuff too, so.
Yeah, I wonder if there isn't an opportunity to do a program at the Senior Resource Day somehow to
I would think maybe.
yeah. Yeah, we don't normally, because we've changed it, so it's not like where everybody's sitting down anymore, and they love that they can come and go. But yeah, if there's some way to do programs.
Would there be an opportunity to match a high school student with capabilities with a senior who could use the instruction or the help?
and have a mentoring program, is they ask the adults to mentor the kids, there's, kids could mentor.
Oh, technology wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be an interesting, National Honor Society program, or Healthy Youth, or,
Mhm.
Cubic might be interested.
yeah, right? Anything with high school, it's a Chris Cubic project. So, yeah, thank you.
Teachers are use the smart remote, yeah.
All right, any other thoughts, ideas, suggestions, comments, kudos?
So at one point, because I know when my mom was aging, there was I think, like a list of, contractors maybe that, the seniors at a certain age could take advantage of throughout the city. And, I mean, to go a little step further, like some seniors, not only, sure they're on, a budget or limited income, but they struggle with, having to keep their homes upgraded.
Yeah.
And that's continues to be an
Garden and
issue.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a challenge.
So years ago, I tried to put together a list of contractors that seniors could trust. And I was working with, the city department, and there became some liability issues with being recommending, right, that if there's an issue that it got way too muddy.
Well, there used to be a program, I don't know if it's on, I think it was called Christmas in April. I
Right,
first
it's
came
Rebuilding
to
Together.
that.
I just wrote it
Yeah,
down,
Rebuilding
yeah.
Together now.
Right, Rebuilding Together now, but also again, too, making folks aware of that they can, sign up for it, they can come and get some stuff done, and,
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing
but,
that up.
yeah, not only the artwork and stuff, but, potentially we have seniors that, and I don't know how you would do this, but, we have seniors that also need housekeeping help.
Right.
They're.
Well, and that's why we have the Senior Resource Day, right, so
you know,
that they can
one
come to
slip
the,
or fall and you're
whatever
like,
the
we
resources
have to
are
have
that
this
they
on
need.
quarters,
Right, no, we have a lot of that too. But with the Senior Resource Day, that's why, and we give them it's a phone book, right, paper phone book, so that they have access to every agency that was at the event, so they can look through when they need something, and it's helped quite a bit with seniors being able to access different resources. So, I was just thinking about it, we only have it in English. I never thought about it.
I have one community service announcement.
Mhm.
When we have really, really hard rain like we had it once in July, that we had to go to the viaduct, and then we had yesterday that we had to go to the viaduct. Just FYI, if you're traveling the city, 29th Street floods between Galilee and Lewis. So we put barricades out there last night because it became unpassable. We didn't get reports of anything else, but I drive that way to the center and didn't think I was gonna make it. So avoid, when there's a really good hard rain, avoid 29th Street between Galilee and Lewis.
That's good to know. Well, and just so everybody knows, Lou is actually, she's in charge of our ESDA, our Emergency Services